Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. At some point in time in the world where you're at, it is time for some Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament. We got a unusual matchup. We got the 1 and 2 seeds of this group, azder and lunchtime underscore ATH, going at it in the losers bracket final of their group. So this is a do or die matchup for the two of them. I am Mentos Man 8, joined this morning by Tracy M. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Good early morning matchup to have fun with. Two very good runners. And like you said, I don't think either one of these guys was expecting to have to be in the loser's bracket here. So this is do or die time. One of them is not going to make brackets. And that's a shame, but that's the way it is.
Yep, these are the kind of matches you hope to avoid, but they're also, in a way, the most fun ones, because, you know, you got that pressure, you got that extra little bit of strain about doing well.
Okay, and this is Group AB. Ravis has already gone through, having beaten both of these guys. Now we're going to see who the other person is going to be, and we're starting as you're going to start getting a hammer at Link's house. Lunchtime just getting 20 rupees at Sanctuary.
That hammer is a fantastic first grab, since he was doing Uncle Start anyway. Now he can just go ahead and do all of Escape while he's here.
Well, it's an interesting question. Sometimes Azure will just start at Link's house and then reset to the Sanctuary, but finding that hammer does allow him to do all of Escape, the front of Escape right now, so that probably incentivized him to go ahead and do the Uncle and go ahead and do Escape as well.
That makes a lot of sense. Also, we did get a quick map check. The Tower of Hera is a crystal, Eastern is a red crystal, and Desert is our green pendant. So 2 crystals in the light world ain't bad.
And we see a Quake, which may or may not be of any use. But yeah, for those of you wondering, this is game 1, so we are straight up 7-7. We won't see any changes till game 2. Game 2 will follow this, and if there is a game 3, that'll be tomorrow. So they're going to get this matchup done pretty quickly.
Yep, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stay awake for game 2. It's kind of getting close to my usual sleep time, but I'm kind of wanting to stay up and watch it. So Lunchtime has found that the bush crab has 5 rupees. He's now farmed up enough where he will get money for the bottle vendor, even if no chest in Kakariko gives him any rupees, which is a good thing to be prepared with.
And he's got bombs, so he doesn't have to buy those at the moment, but just 20 rupees in Lost Woods here. Arrows for Azure. So far, we haven't seen much else other than that hammer.
Yep, although hammer is, you know, the ideal weapon to get early because it's tempered sword damage right off the bat. You gotta deal with the smaller hitbox, but hey, you can kill things in one hit. That's more helpful than the hitbox hurts. And convenient that the guards rolled into the bomb drop pack, so on top of the tree pole having bombs, just bombs everywhere for Azder as he goes through Escape here.
Yeah, we're not going to have to worry about getting bombs to check the village for either one of these guys, which is always nice. Okay, Blind Sut having a sword, rupees, arrows, and bombs. So the sword is really good, but the rest of it, not so much.
Yep, although, you know, as a runner of this game, I always feel a little bit concerned finding a sword at, 2 minutes in, because, well, Aghanim exists.
Yeah, unfortunately for Azure, that front of escape play didn't get him anything. At least he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and with the early weapons, I can't see Lunchtime not doing the same play very soon, so it's not like it's going to be lost time, just maybe, you could have skipped it as a gamble and had it pay off.
As you're taking the first look at his map.
Over here in the well, we've got nothing so far. A heart container, another heart piece, and another 20 bucks. Very, very empty Kakariko through the first 10 of these 13 checks.
Yeah, so far we've seen a sword, and that's it.
The bottle vendor's over here taking lessons from King Zora. Pay him 100 bucks and you get 20 back. to answer a question in chat, lunchtime is Solaire from Dark Souls, if I recall that's right correctly.
Well, I'm glad you know, because I don't.
Yeah, there are too many sprites for me to remember. I've played enough Dark Souls. Solaire is pretty recognizable to me.
Wow, so Kakariko pretty much a bust today, except for that one sword, which they do need. I mean, having a sword early is nice. Don't have to worry about, some of those early dungeons, having to go in, even with just the hammer. And of course, at some point, you need 2 swords, so...
Yeah, the avoidance of sword go mode is always pleasant, because sword go mode is the worst thing to end up in.
Because swords can be in so many different places. As you're picking up his sword, I didn't see what the race game is, but since lunchtime's not going for it, probably nothing important.
Yeah, it was the worst boomerang.
Ah.
Although red boomerang gains some value, it can be used for the whole splash deletion fake flippers thing, which, gives a little bit of benefit.
Okay, lunchtime I'm going to go do South Shore before doing any sort of escape. That's pretty standard.
Yeah, and South Shore basically has to have something, I feel like, because, this is another 8 checks, and with Kakariko empty, you gotta start finding items at some point. But that Harpies was not that point.
No. We are definitely not short of money, though.
Yeah, a little bit short on lunchtime side of affording Zora if he wants to do some fake flipper shenanigans, but somehow, because of Escape, Azder has an extra $200 on him, and would be able to do Zora just fine. Now, coming up on Mini Moldorm Cave, usually kind of a pain this early in the seed because you have to do it with bombs, but hey, we got that sword, just slash him away. But Lunchtime does use bombs anyway to try to speed things up and does excellently with it.
Oh, and there are those flippers. So we're going to see a Zora check probably earlier than later. And a red cane. The cane doesn't get him anything right now, but it sure is nice not to have to look for it.
And those flippers have, limited application. At the moment, they unlock just Hobo, the Waterfall Fairy, and Zora and the Ledge, but that's still a decent chunk of stuff.
That's 5 items, plus Zora that you already had. He's going to put Azure maybe a little bit behind since he did do the front of Escape, and maybe lunchtime might be able to avoid that.
Yeah, depending on how the items drop, it could roll into a situation of avoiding it. I feel like if we don't get anything major here, though, if it's a choice between Eastern and Escape, Escape is the more likely option.
Unless we find a bow, yeah.
And lunchtime, save and quit from Hobo, so he's not going to go check the waterfall and Zora Ledge. He couldn't afford Zora himself.
Yeah, he may be waiting till he has the money for it, so maybe he is going to go ahead and do the escape now. In fact, it looks exactly like he's going to do that. And so that'll pretty much even everything out here. We did not see an ice rod check from either one from lunchtime. We'll see if Asher just does the ice rod check.
Ice Rod Cave is a risky gamble just because once you leave it behind, until you find the flute, it's just never convenient ever again.
It really isn't.
In the meantime, as they're going to do his Mini Moldorm Cave, he's got a little bit of an advantage here early in terms of getting through this stuff quickly. He'll be done with Mini Moldorm a decent chunk before lunchtime gets through Escape here.
Yeah, and I suspect Azure will go straight to all the flipper checks since he does have the money for Zora. And that'll save him a bit of time as well. We'll see if he goes and checks the ice rod on his way, though.
Let's see. He is going up toward Hobo first. Nope. Nope. He's swimming right over to Ice Rod Cave. Nope. I take it back again.
He's gonna go to the Zora area first.
That's fair. It is a little bit quicker to swim to Ice Rod Cave when you have flippers, so I thought that was what he was doing, but no, he proved me wrong.
Okay, nothing in the waterfall fairy.
I don't know, those 10 arrows, they might come in handy with that bow we definitely have. Let's see, Zora Ledge is a piece of heart, so that's nothing. Now it's just the long walk over to King Zora himself for him to probably throw you, a single rupee and be like, here kid, have fun.
Yeah, we're running out of checks here. After this, we'll have a Gina and Ice Rod, and I think that's about it. Okay, so we have a Gina and Ice Rod, because that was a big-time scam. Our Zora and our bottle vendor really taking us for all we're worth.
Very much so. And we also have the Sahasrara's hut and Eastern Palace that can be done.
Right, of course. We'll see if Azder goes to that first. He might do that first because it's more checks.
Yeah, this is a surprising lack of items, honestly. Like, there's still a couple items away from really any progress in any direction. It's unusual.
Yeah. We're not even close. We're still a lamp and a sword or a cape away from Aga. We're a glove away from Dark World access and a moon pearl as well.
I don't know if they find the Hookshot sometime soon. I'll start to really worry about Aga because that fits the MO of the Aghanim starter pack real well if they do.
Okay, Azder gets that heart container at the hobo and resets. Looks like lunchtime is going to go check the Ice Rod Cave.
Yep, didn't leave it unchecked for long. He decided it wasn't worth the long-term gamble.
And another sword.
Oh, hey.
Okay. Well, it still doesn't put Aga in logic because we still don't have a lamp. I'm sure, I know Azder's capable of doing Dark Aga. I'm sure Lunchtime has to be capable of doing Dark Aga. But it's not exactly what you want to have to do if you can avoid it.
Yeah, it's not a fun trip up that tower in the dark, and unless the lamp is somewhere really awful, you're probably saving more time just picking it up.
And there's a moon pearl. So we need to either have a glove or a lamp in Eastern or an Agina. Or something that leads to one of those items.
Yeah, I hope it's the lamp. I don't want to make these two sit through Aga Tower.
You mean you hope it's a glove?
Yeah, there we go. I meant to say I hope it's not the lamp, but I can't words. Now heading into Eastern Palace, can't complete the dungeon unless we find a bow. But, you're going to get 2 items out of here, most likely, if you do the Dark Room. You're going to get 3 items out of here sometimes, depending on how the boss feels that day.
So far, just 20 rupees.
It's better than nothing, I guess?
Not much. Azder's already gotten his Zora scam, so...
Yeah, I mean, you got chess game and digging game that's 110 rupees, and that's basically all the money
and
in the game. Oh yeah, I forgot the scam monkey. Like, I've played Breath of the Wild. I know that Link can just climb up the wall of that dungeon and press that switch himself. At lunchtime, not far behind coming into Eastern Palace area here. He's going to be making the same play. If the progression is at Agina, they're both going to be a little bit disappointed.
And we haven't found a lamp yet, and the dark room that Azder's about to do is not in logic. It's not going to be a lamp there. I don't think we've seen a big key. He's going to have to get that big key, and so that big chest will likely have an item. Could be the compass, though, but it's not going to be the lamp.
Yep, so our progression is at Agina, and it's gloves, lamp, or something like the flute or the bow. Well, the bow alone wouldn't do anything, so something like the flute that gives some more options. This dark room, for those who haven't played this randomizer, is one of the easiest ones to learn, and one of the easiest ones to correct if things go wrong, which is a big qualifier on that.
But since it doesn't have a torch we can light, it's not even in logic with the fire rod.
I was happy about those additional fire rod logic checks with the dark rooms. That made me happy to see.
And just a shield. So now Azder's got to either go to Ice Rod or Agina. If it's a lamp on Agina, he's going to also have to hit that Ice Rod cave. We'll see which one he does first.
Yeah, in a way, if he goes to Agina first, he would be better served if it's the lamp, just because otherwise he could miss that sword for the entire race.
Yeah. If it's a glove, though, as long as he runs into a sword, there are two others. Azder's perfectly comfortable with doing a Master Sword Silverless if it comes down to it.
Very true. Just from long perspective, everything that Lunchtime fights with the Master Sword that Azder had to fight with the Fighter Sword is just a little bit quicker for him. And that time can really add up depending on how long it takes that next sword to show up. So let's see, what's your bet? Glove or lamp?
I think it's going to be a lamp.
I think you're right. Huh.
And we're both wrong. It's a book, which means Azder's going to head over to Desert Palace. And so just pointing out, Desert is the green pendant. So, of course, it could be boots locked. It could be we just might have an item there to get.
Yeah, and to clear it out, they need both the lamp or fire rod and the glove we're looking for.
Yep.
So it couldn't lock one of those. Hey, a flute!
Was that the flute on the ledge? Well, he'll get that at least. That might bring him back to that Ice Rod cave sooner, though, because that'll allow him to flute a lot closer there.
Yeah, and it's also, I do have to give shout-outs to the book being Agina's Cave being lovely since you're right next to Desert. But now it's going to make them get the flute, go back to Kakariko to activate the flute, to go up the mountain, which will be the only check they have left. The seed is railroading pretty hard early on. Oh, and hey,
there's that glove.
So
it does mean we're going to be boots locked, though.
True, and we're no longer railroaded. That was immediately proven wrong because now they got a lot of options. And now what'll be really mean is if eventually you have to come back to Desert with the boots to go farther in and to get an important item.
Okay, looks like Azder's going to go straight to activate that flute, which makes a lot of sense.
If there's gonna go to back of escape, actually, get these last couple chests back here.
That's a real good call. Just get this done right now.
Yeah, not that it's that important, but it's a couple quick checks, and if you don't do it right away, you're probably gonna forget it.
I would disagree. I've seen 2 races this week where the back of escape held the important items. One a matchup on Saturday night. I forget who was playing. Had both fire rod and lamp. in the back of Escape, and I think he hit it at about an hour 20. And one in the weekly, sorry, in the daily on Friday night that had the flippers that were need to get Mire. So you don't want to take that back of Escape lightly.
That's very true. It definitely has its moments where it pays off big time. And now I'll go from there to the other high density option of Hype Cave. Hooray!
We'll see how hype our Hype Cave is today.
We've seen some pretty good ones in this tournament, so you know, the hope is alive for it to be good.
Yeah, the hope is alive. We'll see. We've seen some bad ones too. Although with as little as we've gotten so far, maybe this will make up for it.
Let's see, we're starting off
Oh,
strong.
there's a bow!
Oh.
Okay, well, the bow was good.
I give it like a 4 out of 10 for the bow, and just 0 for everything else.
Okay, let's see what we got here. I saw a lot of crystals. Did not see our pendants.
The lovely combination of Skullwoods and Thieves Town are the pendants.
Ooh, of
with
course they
Pod
are.
as a red crystal.
And it looks like Azur's just going to go straight to Pod right now. He can full clear it, so it makes a lot of sense. If he finds the Mire, that'll be nice, because then he can also do Eastern while he's at it. Fortunately, without the Mire, he will probably have to come back here later.
Yeah, and also without the Mire or boots, Pod is a very slow-going dungeon, especially early on, because you have to walk down the stairs and then walk all the way back to the entrance to go one of the other routes, so on and so forth.
Or Death Warp. A lot of Death Warping here.
Always a good choice. And Kiki following along, gonna accept his 110 rupees. Lunchtime skipping that back of Escape for the moment. Also gonna start down the Hype Cave. I'm expecting him to make the same play once he gets that bow.
Now, I think he did check the back of Escape.
Oh, I might have just been blind
So
for a
yeah.
moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was watching Azure as well. I kind of saw that too. Also, Pod being a red crystal.
Yeah, the downside of early Pod here is without a Fire Rod, without Fire Rod or Lamp, you have to do the Dark Turtle room completely blind, and that is not easy.
No, not at all, but these guys can do that.
Very true, but it's one of those things where, you know how I said that Dark Room and Eastern was really easy to correct if things go wrong? The one in
These
Pod
aren't.
is really hard. Making our way through the Bowlock side over here, since that first chest was a compass that nobody really wanted. So now I gotta go the long route to the right to get these 2 items over here.
Yeah, and the answer to answer the statement in chat about no one going to the mountain, there's really only 2 items they can look at, and only 1 they can get. So I don't think going to Death Mountain is a really great play right now. They don't need to save and quit with the flute, so they can, of course, they can get 3 items, or look at 2 items, get look at 3, get 2, because they can do the old man.
Yeah, and getting that save and quit point early isn't bad, since it's just the quickest one to get a full heal and flute away from, but not a significant enough time save to justify an extra trip up the mountain if you find, say, Mire and Pod. And Lunchtime did go up check the pyramid, see it was nothing, and now he's heading to Pod as well.
Oh,
Hey,
mitts.
that's a pretty good find.
Yeah, it looks like Lunchtime's just going to be behind Azure going into Pod.
Yeah, that pyramid not being anything useful means that if Azder decides to not go to it now or soon, he won't really be punished if he just never goes there.
Yeah, I don't know that he'll get there unless we have a pyramid fairy check.
Yeah,
This is
with
the
our
easier dark room right now that Azur's in. Just gets a couple keys.
that means that the harmless hellway will have an item, since that is the 2 keys guaranteed to be in, well, likely to be in the back, not guaranteed.
Or I'll have the big key.
That's also acceptable. Now, Dark Maze, which can also go terribly wrong, but most people at this level are going to have this pretty well memorized from both sides of the map.
And this is a place to death warp out of anyway, so he'll just get to the big chest. Death warp out.
And so far, only finding bombs, chest number 2, some arrows, so not really worth the time.
And completely not worth the time. Oh, saving and quitting. Decides not to finish it up. That's interesting.
Yeah, I kind of don't mind that. You got the flutes, you can get back there decently quick, and like I said, that turtle room, if something goes wrong, it goes very wrong, and if you die in that room, it's a huge time loss,
Yeah.
even compared to going back there later.
Yeah, those are all really good points. Plus, he still has to get back there for Eastern at some point anyway. Ideally, he can do that with the mirror later. And with Swamp being a crystal, they will get the mirror at some point.
Yep, the only downside is that we do know that, unlike Armos Knight's Helmasaur does have an item. So, if that item is something good, like, the boots, well, getting that late kind of sucks. The little birdie is free to fly the skies and occasionally help out when you blow a whistle.
And notice how Lunchtime checked that chest. That was the vanilla big key chest. Azure skipped that one, knowing that it had to have a key because you have to have a certain number. You have to have at least 4 keys in the front. And if you count your items properly and know that you haven't gotten all 4 keys, that one's going to be a key to just be able to unlock a door just to get another key. Azure can do an early Mire check. He can full clear this. Of course, he still doesn't have lamp. I don't know if he'll actually go in at this point yet. Oh, boots.
That's lovely. And I believe that was Bombos on Mire, so we can't get in there yet.
Okay, can't get in there yet.
But yeah, boots are a nice grab. Nobody will ever complain about picking up boots.
Not at all.
Now, immediately heading over to do King's Tomb, gonna do Bonk Rocks after this, get them out of the way while they're fresh in your mind.
Absolutely.
The king was pretty broke when he passed, apparently. Only having 20 rupees to his name. Lunchtime, moving through the dark basement here, going to be heading to the dark maze momentarily.
We'll see if he decides to full clear this. He's a little better equipped with that Master Sword. Ooh, nothing behind the boots.
Yeah, we saw a library early that was empty, so the only thing those boots still really have they could unlock would be that other item in Desert that I said it would be really rude if the seed required. That's not a possibility. Yeah, I forgot about the green pendant.
Azure having boots is going to do the lumberjack check, see if Aga is required. I see a bug net. We're not going for that.
But how are you supposed to beat Ganon when the bug net's up there?
We've got swords.
But that's less fun.
Okay, looks like Azure's going to take his first dip into Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to dip into Skull Woods or Thieves Town while he's over here. Both are pendants But at the same time, do you want to dive into them because they're quick? Looks like his answer is yes.
And he can't do all Skullwoods anyway without a fire rod, so just doing these quick checks, not a bad idea. And a Bombos. Oh, that could lead him back to Mire.
That very well could. And Lunchtime took a Death Warp here in Pod, so he is going to go for that basement. Assuming nothing goes terribly wrong, he will soon be seeing our dear friend Helmasaur.
And we'll be getting our first crystal.
And for those who have, maybe not been around as much since D31 dropped, the pinball room is no longer a guaranteed key, so you're going to see he just pushed that statue all the way over there despite having Cane of Samaria. But you're going to see a little bit different routing than we used to see in V30 and Skullwoods, because, you don't know that you have an escape from that left side hole.
Such a horrible room, too.
I enjoy it if I have Hookshot, so I can Hookshot through the spike just to show off for no reason.
And nothing in Skullwoods.
Meanwhile, Lunchtime getting to the turtle room. He's got one single turtle to deal with here. And if everything goes right, he can do 2 hammer hits and a spin attack and wipe out all 6 turtles in this room. He got the first 2, he got the 2 on the sides, but did not get the last 2 killed. Now comes the hard part of figuring out where these things are.
Azure, meanwhile, is going to go do Mire.
It's a bold play, mostly because Fighter Sword Vitreous is a very slow fight.
Azure, very well versed in the low percent 3-heart category, has gotten very good at some of these harder boss fights. Of course, he's usually got Master Sword for it. Unfortunately, this time we'll just have a Fighter Sword. But I think it's given him a little more confidence to do something like Mire early.
And we are seeing on Lunchtime's side what can go wrong with Turtle Room. He just got the last turtle down. He lived. That's the important part. But, yeah, that's where things can go wrong in that room right there. Also worth noting, without the fire rod or the lamp, there are 2 locations here in Mire completely locked off from Azder, which kind of adds a little bit of risk to this play.
Absolutely.
Okay, Helmasaur fight going pretty well so far. The 17 hits on the mask are done. Now it's just a matter of getting the last hits here. Helmasaur bashing him right up against the wall, and with just enough health, gets him down.
And so far, just a heart container in Mire.
Yep, and 50 rupees off of Helmasaur to wrap up Pod. Nothing important, but will save a trip back here in the Dark World a little bit later. Now, obviously not going to go to that room on the right, because with no fire, there's nothing for him there.
Okay, he's got one more check he can do, possibly 2 if he gets the big key.
Yep, it's down to the wire here. If he doesn't get anything, he hasn't really wasted all that much time, because this is a pretty normal route for looking for the big key anyway.
So the big key is going to be on the cutscene side, so he's going to come back here later and get that once he has a fire source.
Yep, so a little bit of time for lunchtime to gain back. Probably, getting back to Mire and everything is a similar loss to the time loss that lunchtime took doing the turtle room in the dark. And we're apparently going to Ice Palace. I am very surprised to see these dungeon dives before even checking the Village of Outcasts, the Digging Game, Stumpy, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, these are the kind of risks that I see Azure taking a lot of times, so I'm actually not that surprised. He can full clear this. He does not have a hook shot, so he'd have to do some bomb jumping to get to the right side, unless the key layout is well, he didn't get the key in the first spot, so the key layout is not going to help him out very much.
And he's also going to need some magic drops, because he is now out of magic entirely. Oof, and Pengators are in a Rupees drop pack, so they will not be offering him any magic. Now, lunchtime with the boots following up, doing the King's Tomb bunk rock checks. We'll see where he goes after this, if he kind of ends up getting that Bombos medallion following along in Azder's footsteps, or if he moves a little bit more on a quote-unquote normal path.
Oh, and there's a nice big magic drop for Azure. That'll help him out a lot.
Yep, that solves all the problems. And lunchtime has decided he's just going to go ahead and clear Eastern. It is a crystal he can get. It's never going to be faster. Just go ahead and get it now while you think about what to do next.
Yeah, for him, it's never going to be faster since he already did Pod. He's not going to be able to combine that with Pod like you'd want to.
Also, Azder choosing not to do the Ice Palace bomb jump, so if he intends to go to Cold Stare, he's going to have to do it the Samaria route.
He's got Kane, so that's not an issue. I think because he's full clearing this anyway, he figures why waste the time? He's going to have to... It actually saves a little bit of time in certain situations because you'll have this... Oh, did he let that off a bit early?
I think so.
Yeah, he did. You gotta wait for that Freezor to come completely out of the wall before letting off the Bombos, or it's not gonna kill it.
Yeah, Freezor immune to fire until he's, out of the wall.
But when you do the bomb jump and you get to the room, I mean, not this room, but the room that if he had gone to the right before, you have to go all the way back down to go around and back up. So it ends up losing you time.
Very true. With some bomb jumping, if the keys work out for it, you can kind of eliminate that, but definitely a more reliable path through this way. Lunchtime through the back dark room of Eastern, significantly harder than the one in the front, but once you know how to get through it, you're in good shape.
Yeah, as you're picking up some powder, a little bit of safety, and he'll be able to get one more check out of that.
Go visit everyone's friend, the Magic Bat, who curses you with generally pretty good stuff. And Armo's quick kill, nailed perfectly, gets the compass off the boss, grabs the crystal, and now has 2 crystals, and will have to decide where to go next.
As you're going to check the iced tea room, see if there's anything there.
The worst item location in this dungeon, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just the big key. I actually think it had to be the big key at that point.
Now, he's going back this way. Oh yeah, because he needed that big key so he could complete the dungeon, since he didn't bomb jump. He's already got the 3 items. So yeah, now you can just come down here, drop that Samaria block. Oh, lunchtime is getting the big bomb. That's why he went to
that's
Eastern right away. I
interesting.
forgot about that.
That's gonna be pretty big if this is something good.
Yeah, it's very much out of logic at the moment, but that doesn't mean it's not going to have anything. Oh, and setting up to do a dupe of the bomb so he can not have to walk it slowly. Gets it perfectly and saved a bit of time.
So this is going to be a bit of a rough fight for Azure with Fighter Sword. I'm going to switch to the hammer. I think that's a really good idea here.
Yeah, hammer is definitely preferable. 20 bucks and 3 bombs and Pyramid Fairy, so that did not pay off for lunchtime. That is 1 puff down. This is a little bit of a harrowing fight, no matter how well you know it, no matter how good you are.
This is kind of interesting because Azure's going to be able to do Pod and Eastern probably a lot quicker because he probably doesn't go back there until he gets the mirror. On the other hand, with nothing in ice, there's a really good chance that lunchtime is not going to spend nearly as much time in the Ice Palace, possibly being able to go mode it. And the difference between go mode Ice Palace and non-go mode Ice Palace is quite a few minutes.
Yeah, you really want to see if you're Azure, you want to see that powder come to pay off. That key there actually really means that Cold Stare was locked behind Samaria, which we had right away, so it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Ice was fully in logic. We had everything we needed to do it. We had flippers, we had our mitts, we had cane. The only thing we didn't have was the hookshot, but you know we had a key layout that allowed us to get to that area anyway without doing anything weird.
But now, having retrieved nothing, saves and quits out, going to be deciding where to go next. Lunchtime has gone back to the Light World after Catfish and is fluting to 3 to go visit the Village of Outcasts, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what they're both going to do at this point. We'll see if either one does a Thieves Town dip. Pendant Thieves Town is the worst.
It is.
All the other dungeons have something that can point you to them to say, hey, you should go to me now. Thieves Town is always open so easily that it's like, it's just there. Lunchtime, going to do some Skullwoods checks.
Yeah, which he does need to do to be able to complete the seed. He will need to find Bombos in here if he wants to ever get into Mire.
Yeah, to answer the question, Chad, they can go the old man anytime they want. They have the flute and the gloves. It's not in logic without the lamp, but that doesn't stop anyone from doing that. I think that the reason why neither one of them has gone there yet is it's still only 3 checks, 2 items.
Yeah, I mean, you're really hoping for either the Mire or the Hookshot, so you can at least do East Death Mountain while you're up there.
Then Tower of Hera as well.
Yeah, you going up the mountain for just Spectacle Rock is a tough sell.
It would make more sense if they didn't have the flute, because then at least you get that save quit spot for later. But with the flute, you don't need it.
Yep, and digging game having nothing. Now lunchtime, moving on to the last few checks of Skull Woods. As they're going to go ahead and grab everyone's friend, the blacksmith, who, you know, you gotta love doing without the mirror.
It's like he's going to go chat Stumpy. Then probably save and quit to the and go back to town to deliver this guy. And just 20 rupees there.
Yep, and lunchtime got a little bit, torn on how he wanted to handle Skull Woods. He couldn't seem to decide between going to the next room, getting wall mastered, running back to the entrance, or just doing what he ended up doing with the save and quit. So, kind of fidgeted around for a moment, but back on track. I feel like lunchtime has been making a few of those little mental tie-up mistakes throughout the seed so far. Not using the cane in Pod, now that little jiggle back and forth in Skull Woods.
Oof. And just a piece of heart at the Smiths. But we're going to see that powder check. Let's see. Hopefully for Azure, this is something he needs.
Yeah, if it's not,
Fire Rod
then...
really big.
Oh, that would be awful.
And just 50 rupees.
And so, if lunchtime decides to, avoid ice pals like the plague, as some runners do, then he'll get to go through there a whole lot faster, because nothing was valuable.
Oh, and a hook shot at Thieves Town. Oof. Let's see if Azure goes there next.
That hookshot has just been hanging out there.
I know.
For so long.
I'm telling you, Pendant Thieves is the worst. It just is. But it looks like Azure's heading that direction, so he'll get that hookshot pretty soon.
Yeah, about the only other thing that he has left in this area is Purple Chest, and I don't think he's going to go do that before dipping Thieves Sound, pendant or no.
That's a long, long check for just one item, especially without the mirror.
Okay, fine. Prove me wrong, Azder.
Nah, he hasn't checked this one. He hasn't checked C-shaped house yet.
Aha. I thought he had gotten all of Jabac House already.
That gets him a nice refill. Oh, not going.
Okay, yeah, we're doing.
He's doing Purple Chest. Okay.
I guess Hammer Pegs as well. He could just
that's true.
leave Purple Chest. But that hookshot means that lunchtime is going to finish up these couple south checks and then head right up Death Mountain, most likely.
Most likely. And as you're turning down the container heart.
And here we go. Save and quit with the purple chest. Gonna go drop that off, see if there's anything of worth.
At least with the flute, this isn't too bad.
Yeah, definitely a lot better than it could be. And, I mean, getting it out of the way now is not a bad thing in its own right. Also worth noting that we did leave 2 items in Thieves Town. Hey, Vanilla Bottle!
Vanilla Bottle. Well, hey, we can check Sick Kid now. That's the first bottle of the game.
That very much is. And, okay.
That's where he's going. Come on, Sick Kid, what do you got for us? Give us a fire rod.
Let's see the mirror.
And a heart.
Much better
no wonder
for
he's
the runners.
sick, giving away that heart. And
Yeah,
as you're not gonna go to Thieves Town. Looks like he's gonna go do Ice Rod. So he'll get his Master Sword at least.
You know how bad he's gonna feel about having done Cold Stare with Fighter Sword when the Master Sword was right here all along?
Nah, he'll be fine. Not having to worry about sword mode will make him much happier, I think.
True, it's just like, you always had that, at least I always had that feeling as a runner. When I do one of those hard execution fights and then immediately find a sword, it's like, well, I feel silly now.
So at this point, I think all he has left is to go up to Death Mountain or to go do Thieves Town. So let's see which one he chooses. Oh, or he could finish Pod. And Eastern.
He's at least doing Eastern now. He might be looking for that same Pyramid Fairy setup. Or he's just doing this for a moment to think. He's very heavily avoiding that pendant thieves town, and it's starting to really not do good things for him now.
Yeah, well, now that we know what's there, it's definitely not doing good things for him, but I don't blame him. No one wants to go there if they don't have to.
Yeah, there are like two schools of thought. There's one group who will dip those front forward chests immediately every time.
Yep.
Saying that it's basically overworld. Then the other group who avoids it for as long as possible because it's a pendant dungeon. Why am I going in there?
But he's going to get to the point where it's all he's going to have left, so he's going to have to get there at some point. It's just unfortunate that he's not going to be able to take advantage of a Mire later on to do these two checks at the same time. So he's going to lose time here from what he would have gotten if he could have held off on doing these two.
Yeah, we know that Mire isn't locked behind anything in either of these, so he absolutely could have got it quicker later, but the curse of Rando is never knowing what's possible.
Or knowing that too many things are possible.
Also true. I'm gonna laugh if this is important.
It's
nope.
not.
So no damage done by not going up Death Mountain early. They save time in the end by doing it later with boots and the hookshot. Now Paradox Cave should have something.
One would think. Although we have also Dark Death Mountains. There's a ton of checks here right now.
Yeah, I don't know if either of these two can... Wait, never mind. I was gonna say can hover, but then I remembered that we have the hookshot to get here. And hey, here's the mirror, so that's the only way to get here.
Well, as to hovering, lunchtime, I know he can hover. However, his first race against Ravis, he tried very hard to hover over Moldorm to get to the end of the game, where Ravis decided to just go find the hookshot, and it cost him because he never did get the hover. He got really, really close. Azder, on the other hand, I know has recently learned how to hover and has not broken out in a race yet. So we'll see if that comes. It was not going to come up because, of course, you need the hookshot for Swamp Palace, but.
Yeah, and with Mire locked behind, hookshot really covers everything. That said, Paradox Cave was fantastic. We got the Mire, we got the Fire Rod, and we got a Tempered Sword, which is a huge upgrade. And hey, there's the Ice Rod, just hanging out.
Yeah, this is really bad for Azder. He's going to be really behind at this point because we got a Tempered Sword, we got a Fire Rod. So lunchtime is. Did we see an Ice Rod? I didn't actually see that, but I don't see it marked on his tracker.
It's the floating island item.
Oh,
so
okay.
Oh, he accidentally floated.
Looks like he's just going to go ahead and do Swamp now. That puts. We haven't seen the medallion for Turtle Rock, but this is getting really close to go mode here.
Yeah, it's I think he wanted to check the medallion for T-Rock, but he menued to flute instead of hookshot, so he just kind of got caught by the duck and said, well, screw it.
Yeah, it's kind of those little things that you were talking about.
That said, he's also, once he picks up that Ice Rod, unless T-Rock requires Ether, he's in go mode, he may just feel not great and be saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, Azur's situation is a little bit more dire. He has to go to Thieves Town. Hopefully he chooses to go to Thieves Town before he checks the few Death Mountain checks he can check. And then it'll become an execution situation. Can Azur out-execution lunchtime to catch up? He won't have to do Ice Palace at least, but Ice Palace won't take lunchtime very long. And Azur will have a quicker Mire because he'll be able to go straight to that cutscene and just get the big key off of there, whereas lunchtime's going to be looking for it.
Yeah, and lunchtime skipped the first chest here, so he's definitely going for go mode swamp. So if I had to guess his mindset, and this is a guess solely based on the way I know I would feel, he found that Hookshot in the front four of Thieves and said, Azder probably got this like 30 minutes in. And then he went to Death Mountain and found everything for Go mode except maybe a medallion and went, Azder's almost done. I need to run.
Yeah, this is crazy. If this seed just becomes so much faster if they just dip Thieves Town. And that's what feels bad. I mean, Thieves Town coming and gonna cost Azure if things keep going the way they are.
Yeah, and I mean, the nightmare scenario for lunchtime and the dream scenario for Azder is that, you know, Ether is required for T-Rock, and it's in the swamp. He's going to go mode Ice as well, but we already know Ice doesn't have anything.
No, Azure's going to go mode Swamp as well. Unless he checks the medallion and sees that it's Ether.
I was going to say, I'm working on the assumption that he'll check the medallion before going down.
Yeah, let's hope.
I do like the quick check of those two drown chests there. It's quick, it might be your medallion, it might be your silver arrows. Just get it so that you can kind of safeguard a little bit against the odds of failure. We're coming up on the Argus fight. With Tempered Sword, it should go pretty quick. Azder is most likely about to do Pyramid Fairy, and then be left with, you know, Catfish or Pendant Thieves Town. And I really hope he would choose Pendant Thieves Town over Catfish.
Yeah, I do too. Catfish is so far out of the way. It's a shame that he's going to go to this Pyramid Fairy and not going to find anything there.
Yeah, that might take him up to Catfish, but we can hope that he just decides to skip it. A beautiful Argus fight by lunchtime over there, by the way. So that is Crystal number 3 for lunchtime. He's going to go mode Ice Palace next, and then Misery Mire. And then he'll go see if this gamble pays off or not, going back up Death Mountain for T-Rock and Hera.
Yeah, this will be one of those rare seeds where you could actually do T-Rock, then Hera, and go right into GT.
Also, shoutouts to the seed, you know, having the potential to be a massive jet seed, but also having a required item in all 3 pendants.
Yep. That's always, it feels bad. As you're going to be disappointed by this Pyramid Fairy, so hopefully this will take him over to Thieves Town. Or not.
Yeah, he is going to ride up to Catfish. It's the only time it'll be remotely reasonable to check. We know he really needs to not do this.
Unless it's Ether, and unless Ether is our T-Rock.
Well, lunchtime already checked Catfish earlier.
Oh, that's right.
And we will be seeing the Ice Palace bomb jump on lunchtime's side, since he is go moding it. There is no argument to be made.
None whatsoever.
I guess maybe if you're in like the spoiler tournament and you know where your opponent's at, and you're like, I got time. Let's do something stupid.
I think you'd still do it.
Gets that red ruby from Catfish and goes, crap, it's Thieves Town.
Well, he still has those Death Mountain checks. Let's hope he doesn't go there instead.
Well, he's going there instead.
Going there instead. This is really bad.
I get it. At this point, you're almost an hour into the seed. You assume your opponent has gone independent Thieves Town already. for at least that front four, and
Oh,
at a
absolutely.
certain point you say, I gotta commit?
No, I mean there's absolutely nothing wrong with what he's doing. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. Committing to not doing Thieves Town, it is a pendant dungeon. It's just for this particular seed, it's the wrong answer.
Yeah, like I know one of my group stage races, I did the same thing Azder is doing, of avoiding Pendant Thieves Town like mad, and it paid off real well for me. So it's
Yeah,
solid luck of the
absolutely.
seed. Of course, the ultimate question here is, where is the lamp?
That is a really good question. You know what? Probably in the back of Thieves Town.
That could be.
I mean,
I was thinking that, or maybe like Hookshot Cave, Super Bunny Cave, maybe.
yeah, could be. Oh, is he gonna go check desert now? Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, understandable.
Yeah, he's just going hard on this choice, and
Yeah, this is where he's probably said to himself, if it's Thieves Town, I lose, and I'm just gonna check everything else instead.
yeah, and he's very right on that matter. Obviously, with where lunchtime is at, it would take a lot for Azure to come back in this one.
Yeah,
So he's definitely making the right call. The ice rod is on the floating island on Death Mountain, so a quick mirror over on the way to T-Rock will pick that up for lunchtime. Now we head over to the right side of desert. Now this could pay off if Ether is over here and it turns out to be required. This could be a game-changing moment right here.
We knew Mire was Bombos.
And that is item number 2 from Desert. Azure is going to go get the big key while he's here. Can't go to the boss because no fire.
At least that's the thing. Since he doesn't have fire, is not going to bite him as bad as this dungeon could.
And just a small response to a question in chat. Lunch bought a bomb upgrade because he wanted to fill up his bombs. He was low on them. When you buy the upgrade, you get not just, extra capacity, it fills you to capacity. So he went from low on bombs to 15, which is more than enough to get through all the rest of the seed.
So Azure is going to go get his hookshot. Hopefully he leaves Thieves Town as soon as he sees that hookshot and goes back to Death Mountain.
Yeah, he's gonna feel exactly like he was correct when he sees, maybe not the hookshot, but as soon as he sees Death Mountain, he's gonna know he's basically lost. Meanwhile, lunchtime making his way through anyway. True.
Okay, he's gonna save and quit.
He's gonna head up Death Mountain and find his fire rod.
He's gonna find everything he needs.
Yeah. Come on, not cutscene chest. Hey!
There's the lamp! Oh, wow.
Perfect. Unfortunately for lunchtime. Oh, no. Yeah, he's going a very roundabout route that I don't see very often, actually.
Azure almost made a huge mistake there. He was about to go to the Dark World and realized, oh, wait, I haven't even checked Paradox Cave and I don't have the mirror, so he would have had to save and quit to get back to the Light World, and if I remember correctly, everything was here.
Yep, he'll get the mirror, he'll get his fire rod, he'll go to the T-Rock portal and see the ice rod and be like, well? Starting on the, calm side, just a sword upgrade, and then, hey, fire rod.
Hey, looky here.
I enjoy the fact that he shot that crystal switch, probably just out of frustration, for no actual value. And we did get the vanilla big key in Misery Mire, so after checking everything else, lunchtime will grab it.
Azure does see the ice rod. What are you gonna do now? Interesting. He's just gonna flute away as well. Not gonna check it. Okay.
So he is also gambling.
Wow. Okay.
I think, you know, lunchtime seemed to miss menu after getting deadrocked a few times.
No, Azure did that totally on purpose.
Yeah, Azure did that very on purpose.
Yeah, that which is unfortunate because that was like his one big out, and he would have been looking for that ether, while lunchtime is not looking for it.
I'm gonna laugh real hard when lunchtime goes up to T-Rock and it's ether. I'm also gonna feel really bad, but I'm gonna laugh while feeling bad. Get some spooky action from lunchtime, able to shoot the fire rod with a manipulated height variable so that it'll hit the switches that are, you know, well above where the fire rod is hitting on the screen. One of the more fun glitches to come out of Link to the Past in the past, you know, year and a half.
Oh, Azure forgetting to hit the switch block. Ouch.
Health a little bit low on lunchtime side.
Ooh, taking a death. That gives Azure a bit of a window to catch up a little bit. He still has to fully clear swamp though, so it's not enough by itself.
Yeah, it'll probably get back to, or get to Vitreous a little bit before lunchtime gets back, which will leave him, you know, a full Swamp Palace ahead. But I think that death comes down to nerves, feeling bad about that hookshot, still kind of just eating at your play. He went real risky going for the NMG strat on Vidi there instead of playing it safer. Oh, they're going to be virtually synced up in the back of Mire
here.
Absolutely. And lunchtime, I'm going to go grab some more magic, as they're just going straight down the staircase, puts them basically even. Azder does have an advantage of having more health, so less of a risk of that same kind of death that lunchtime took.
Yeah, and I'd actually call it less of a risk in general. Again, Azure working very hard on some of these boss fights with very, very little resources, running the low percent category.
I love new really low percent.
Yeah, I do too. It's a great category. It's a great category to watch.
True. I just can't get the heart deletions consistently enough and end up quitting half my runs at like Hera. So it's just like, you know what, I give up. And lunchtime taking a fall in the pit there. So the time save from spooky action pretty much given right back. Okay, this is not great for lunchtime. He is one hit away from death from basically anything in this fight. Pulls out the bow to start using it a little bit, as they're also in the same health position. Azder gets the fight down a little bit quicker. Lunchtime right behind him. Both are going to grab the crystal. Both had relatively sloppy fights that are, you know, not what you expect from people who are as good at this game as they are.
But they both survive, so that's what's important.
That is definitely the important part. And we're finally going to get the information we've all been waiting for. What is the Turtle Rock Medallion? Shoutouts to Marjevich trying to egg the chat on a little bit here.
Well, we didn't come anywhere close to a pet seed, so I know chat's going to be a little disappointed about that.
Well, it's not over till it's over.
It's not over till it's over. We got to see this medallion, but I think it's on life support at this point.
Very much so. So before we get to the medallion, I gotta think, you know, if you're these runners, do you feel better or worse seeing Ether on T-Rock?
No, it's worse. Because now I have to go find it. I mean, right now, if I'm either one of these guys, they both hit Thieves Town so much later than I believe they thought their opponent did. I'm not feeling good regardless. And then if I see Ether, I'm like, oh. And then, yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money with that, especially with them both gambling like they did. Hey,
oh no! By the way, I have a gold sword.
No silver still, but with butter, Ganon is easy, no matter if you have silvers or not.
Yeah, in a way, that actually is like. If this could have stayed Master Sword Silverus, that would have been an advantage to azder. I don't know what lunchtimes. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be disadvantage to him. Lunchtime might be just as good, but I know azder is very accomplished with the Master Sword Silverless. But it looks like we're gonna have a gold sword Silverless unless those silvers just happen to pop up, and they could. I mean, you know, Go mode Turtle Rock is not really much of a Go mode, and GT often has those silvers.
Yeah, and I do like lunchtime taking the moment to check the Hookshot cave chest there. You have to go through it for Ice Rod anyway, and if Ether is in there and you need it for T-Rock, it's a lot more efficient to grab it on the way. So there we go, lunchtime grabbing the Ice Rod. The moment of truth draws near.
And it's just Bombos.
Okay, we are officially... Fine. Yep, officially in Go mode, not just assumed Go mode. The gamble paid off for both of them, which is really fantastic for them both. And azder not really far behind. He's the rest of the swamp and a Death Mountain climb alongside the stuff you'll grab on the way to that Ice Rod behind. You know, it's not an insurmountable lead by any means. It's a good lead, though. If lunchtime takes another bad death, though, say if he takes a death to Trinex like the one to Vitreous, that could easily sway the tide backwards.
But yeah, right now it's lunchtimes to lose. If he just executes here, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, and it's hard to execute in an elimination match against an opponent who you know is extremely good at the game when you find an item that leads you so quickly to Go mode so late. Like, execution is something that should just be nature, but once you get those nerves in, it gets real hard to maintain strongly.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, with that Hookshot just sitting there for so long, he's got to feel behind. So he's definitely worried. He just doesn't know that his opponent just left it for even longer.
I feel like that's the thing where you're going through this thinking, man, I wonder when my opponent found a Hookshot. Like, what's he doing? Why isn't he done yet?
Yeah,
he found that.
Exactly.
If he found that back then, why is he still going? Sitting there going, well, maybe that Bombos medallion in Skull Woods evaded him, or I don't know.
This change jump room always being a pain in the butt.
Yeah, taking a few hits there, and
Oh,
because
yeah.
of Ice Palace, he does not have the powder for that safety.
Oh, that's right.
If there's one advantage Azder has in just general stuff, it's that fact that if he slips up on execution, he's got a fallback. Lunchtime doesn't have a bottle, doesn't have the powder, doesn't even have the mushroom for fake powder.
Yeah, that's crazy. We're at this point. We've seen one bottle between the two runners.
Perfectly normal. You know, it's not like there are 4 of them in the game or anything.
No, not at all.
And Vanilla Big Key making sure that your dreams of go-moding T-Rock are crushed before they even begin.
Yeah, Go Mode Turtle Rock. Yeah, what's that? It will be interesting to see when they get into Tower of Hera. They still have to do Hera after all this. You know, getting the very rare Hera 2 GT play. If either one of them will go for the Hera pot glitch to make it a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's definitely a time save worth going for. It's
If you know what you're doing, it's definitely worth the time save. If you're not sure about it, then you know you could end up losing more time than you gain. So it'll be interesting to see if either one of them goes for it.
Yeah, I think with the equipment level they have, basically like 1 failure is probably enough, where if you had just done things normal.
Hey, speaking of the mushroom.
Safety! It's not a very good safety. It's
No,
not
it's
the
a
safety you're
terrible
looking for. But it's a safety.
It's a terrible safety. But hey, you know, I mean, if you're absolutely in a pinch, it does work. You know, people often forget that you can do fake powder anywhere. It's not just on the magic bat.
Yeah, and he's actually coming up on one of the 2 most convenient places to use it. One is upstairs GT. The other is this room right before Trinex, because you get a full magic right before Trinex as well. So you can heal up on the anti-fairy there and not have to worry about your magic count. He's not going to do that, though. He just picked up the full magic, so he does not intend to drain it all.
No, I think at this point, if you're lunchtime, you just got to go. Yeah, anything that slows you up is just going to be difficult. He is going to have to get a key, though, from Laser Bridge. And gets it in the second chest. That's pretty good.
Ooh, but takes that fall. He's going to go get the safety door.
Yeah, I think that's a good call on his part. 3 hearts into Trinex. Ugh.
Yeah, you kind of got 2 options there. Either you blow all your magic to use that mushroom to get the health back from the anti-fairy, or you take that door. You do not just go straight into Trinex with 3 hearts in that situation. Everything getting in his way. So 4 hearts with Blue Mail. I believe he can take 1 hit without dying. With Butter, he'll probably go for the 0 cycle kill.
Yeah, this Butter Sword here makes a huge difference. Just makes it a lot easier.
And I'm wrong. He's not going for the 0 cycle kill. He's going for the nice, safe 1 cycle.
Yeah, he's gotten through the first part of this fight, so he should be fine at this point, especially with that Butter Sword. And as I say that, he takes a hit. But he does survive. He had a hit to give, so he's fine.
Yeah, that 1 heart outside of the bridge to Trinex pays off. And hey, more safety. So he now has the other cane, which, not a great item, a very laggy item, but it's gonna be valuable if he gets in a pinch later on. Now we head off to go clear out our last crystal dungeon. Strangely enough, it's Tower of Hera. You don't see that every day.
No, but it is kind of the ideal routing if you could get it to happen.
Oh, for sure. This is like the dream ending of a seed.
Yeah, the dream finish. TR to Tower of Hera to GT. Let's go.
He is just immediately going for Hera Pod, not even seeing
I
what's
actually
going
really
on
like
anywhere
this.
else.
It's just let's go. This is exactly the situation where it's going to be the most useful too.
He's using some pause buffers to get himself aligned properly. Gets it, Hookshot's in, and we are through.
Perfectly done.
Now completely ignore pretty much the entire dungeon, go straight to the boss. With Buttersword, 2 slashes will get Moldorm down. Slash and a poke works too.
That's pretty much as quick as you can do that. Oh, and we've already got the numbers coming out in chat.
If I was just gonna say, Azder gave a quick check of the map to make sure he knew where he was going.
So we got those 22. I think the bot's still broken, but we do have 22 locations that big key could be. Pick a number 1 through 22.
What do you think?
I scored with 5 in my last commentary, so I'm going to stay with that.
I'm gonna say this seed was too friendly if you picked
If you did it
sounds.
right?
Like kinda I kinda hope it's tile room just for that added, someone's gonna gamble it feeling awful.
And there's silvers right away, so we're going to have the super safe Ganon fight.
Yep, no threat there, and Lunchtime making the far more reasonable choice of not gambling tile room. Gonna head to the left here.
Wow.
Oh, hey.
3. There's our big key. Well, that pretty much seals it. I mean, there's really nothing left. The one thing that could have saved Azure at this point is a really bad big key route versus a really good big key route. And that might have made things close. But at this point, it's just a matter of can Lunchtime execute. And if he does, this is his race to lose.
Yeah, another death, especially if it's a little ways into the gauntlet, would put Azure right back in it, if not in the lead. But as long as he doesn't die, he's basically in the driver's seat here.
And we'll see if Azure also decides to do a Hera pot clip. That looks like he's not going to go for it. And there's the big key, so it's not going to save as much time as it could have. It's not like if the big key is in the basement, other part of the basement, then the time save is much greater.
And as someone who has not taken the time to learn Herapod yet, I appreciate Azure doing this the way I would have had to do it.
Same. But then I'm bad at this game, so.
I feel like I'm bad at this game, but then I'm also actually good at the game, so I don't know what to believe.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
We are making our way through the gauntlet here, which is going very smoothly, as you would expect, with, silver arrows, butter, and a bunch of health to go with that blue mail. We are on the last room of the gauntlet. Get that skeleton with the fire rod, dash over here, and I'm guessing we'll see a silver arrow 0 cycle for landmark.
Very nicely done from Lunchtime.
Yeah, for one of the most fun kills to just get down consistently is that Lambo 0 cycle. Wizard Room 1 down, coming up on 2. As they're entering into GT, is going to get his big key very quickly, most likely, only real question is, does he get the silvers beforehand or not?
And a reminder, we are going to have game 2 immediately following this. So I'm not going to be able to interview the runners at all. So we're just going to get started.
Lunchtime missed the torch. He tried to hit it, it didn't light, and he just kept going.
Yeah, this room is one of those rooms that just, if you mess it up, it just feels bad.
The worst thing too is there's a way where when you light, I think it is that torch in particular, it can do a glitch kind of like torch glitch and just not light.
Oh,
so
really?
if you feel like you hit it, sometimes you just believe like, no, it's just glitched. Also, Azder did make the tile room gambit. He's slashing some tiles right now.
I like this choice on his part. I mean, it's the one thing that could have caught him up if it'd been here. Unfortunately, it's not going to pay off for him.
Yeah, he literally last location at Hookshot, so he feels even worse than Lunchtime has this whole time. Very quick Moldorm 2, gonna get the Hookshot over to the final chest of the game. Not gonna open it most likely. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, having done the tile room play, seeing that the key was right there.
And from experience, at this point in Azder's shoes, you're like, I last location Hookshot. It brought me directly to go mode. I did tile room first. How are you not done yet? It's to that point where you just start constantly checking the IRC. Like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for the dot done. I just want to see the dot done. And it doesn't come yet, and you're just like, am I seriously still in this? That was a good Aga 2 fight from Lunchtime. He's just got a Buttersword Silver's Ganon fight. Not going to be remotely challenging. Dropping in, it's going to take 6 slices on phase 1, 6 slices on phase 2, the 4 slices for phase 3, and 4 silver arrows to the face for phase 4. So far, very, very clean. Going to get that first hit on phase 3. Health is getting low. He is not in the safest position, but the part of the fight where you take damage is over. Now at this point, your main concern becomes falling off the edge. If you mess up a movement, if you mess up a hit, you can fall down those pits. You have to restart the fight from scratch. Not the worst thing that could happen, but it's a time sink. And that is 4 silver arrows in Ganon. As soon as he walks across the bridge, that's going to be GG on game 1.
Very well done. And like I said, we will have game 2 following. They're not quite yet going, but they are getting ready to go. I've not heard any word on what changes Azure might choose to make.
And Lunchtime's official time was 1:28:18.
Looking through the SRL chat, and I'm not seeing any changes, so this might just be another 7-7.
Oh, I caught it in there. Azure said he is going to go with 6-6.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the more drastic changes you can make to the game with the minor rule changes allowed.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting 6-6 seeds, like including the one I commentated just a few days ago that fit where go mode came about less than 30 minutes in, and the finish time was 56 minutes. So
Yeah, it has a little bit of variance to it.
yeah, and it's the interesting part about the 6-6 is that when you go 6-6, sometimes the game will tell you what 6 dungeons you have to do. In that something like Ice Rod might show up in GT, and sometimes you'll get a choice. So it will be interesting to see which kind of seed they get.
Yeah, it also has dynamic. I know you were talking earlier about how lunchtime is able to hover, Azder has learned how to hover. The fact that you might be able to skip Hookshot for a swamp is a selling point.
It is absolutely a selling point, and it'll be interesting to see if that comes up at all.
And the last shot on Aga2 there, Azder will be going into his Ganon fight a little bit tougher with the Tempered Sword, but still pretty standard. In an ideal fight, there will be zero difference at all between a Tempered Sword and Golden Sword fight. If you do the first 2 phases of Tempered correctly, you still get them in 1 cycle apiece, and it makes 0% difference between the different swords. As they're getting phase 1 perfectly, that is going to go into phase 2. You want a hookshot through midway to get out of those fire bats, and then nail the last few hits, and he should be in phase 3 now if I counted right. I do see some people who were a little bit uncertain on what 6-6 means. So, the 6-6 means that there are 2 changes. 1, Ganon's tower will open at 6 crystals. 2, Ganon will be vulnerable at 6 crystals. In a defeat Ganon rule set, those 2 are intrinsically tied. At least in the form of Ganon vulnerability, can't be any meaningful way lower than with the tower opening. The tower opening can be lower than Ganon vulnerability, it makes a difference, but not the other way around in defeat Ganon. But it essentially means one of these 7 crystals you can just skip.
And as you're finishing up his Ganon fight, and finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:32.13, GG to Azder, and he's going to be fighting for his tournament life in this next match. So this should be a good one. So everyone, go ahead and stay tuned. I believe that's it for us. We're going to have Marjovic and Fear Agent taking over for the commentary, and the restream will probably start up about 20 minutes or so. They actually haven't started the race yet, so they have to get that going, of course, with a 20-minute delay. But do stay tuned or tune back in to see the next race.
Yep, and it'll be obviously right here on this channel, but in the meantime, if you need a drink, if you need some food, go grab it. But also drop a follow on both of these runners. If you're unfamiliar with them both, they've both been around the community a long time. They are fantastic runners. They're fun to watch. I know Azder also does a lot of Super Metroid and combo rando.
Oh, absolutely, and that's actually where I know him from. So, but yeah, and also thank you to Mentos Man for joining me on commentary. Not always easy to get someone at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, I guess 10 o'clock in the morning because Eastern time. And thank you to our tracker, Bandman25. So you make sure you follow those guys as well. And stay tuned for the next one.
Have a good day, everybody.